DeVita.
We're the two Pilates Chicks in Brentwood, Santa Monica, Los Angeles, in our two Pilates Chicks studio. And we don't know what our theme music is.
But this is our last episode of the year.
Of 2024, Season 5, Episode 17. So we kind of started this last year. It's our yearly Q&A.
Yeah.
Where we took questions from you guys, our listeners.
And it's always fun to see what people are wondering about and get those different questions.
Yeah. We like them a lot. What's the first one? Oh, this is from Kimberly, right?
Well, we had to pick just a couple in order to fit into the episode. So the rest of them we're going to use as different topics for some episodes for next season.
Yeah. So we will get to it. We promise. So this one's from Kimberly, and we thought it was a really good one for the end of the year.
Yeah. This one is about asking for around signs of burnout and ideas about burnout. And we thought it was a good topic for the end of the year because it is a classic time for people to feel really drained, overwhelmed, exhausted, kind of like crawling to the end of the year.
Can I get there?
Can I get there? And then the holidays. And then also simultaneously, the new year is a really good opportunity to kind of reset, do what you need to do, kind of recheck what's needed, what's working, what's not working.
What's not. Because we had like the signs of burnout, like what I notice the most, and we've all been there.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been teaching a long time, is you get impatient.
Yeah.
You kind of feel that you're on that hamster wheel the whole time, just same, over.
Constant.
No, you're bored, you're tired.
Yeah.
You might even have, like you were saying, about more physical stuff.
Yeah, there's some physical symptoms that can come along with classic burnout with like headache, fatigue, even like gastrointestinal distress, changes of appetite, kind of like classic like depression-y, lethargy sort of symptoms.
Yeah.
But I always notice it when I feel like very resentful towards clients or other relationships when they like ask for something or ask.
You're like, why are you asking me that?
I'm like, oh. And then, that like irritability, those sorts of things. And it is good to be aware of feeling.
And it happens.
It definitely happens.
It just definitely happens. It's life.
It's
right?
just life. Yeah. I mean, and in our sort of work, I mean, we really put out a lot for people. It's physically draining. It's mentally draining. We're in client-facing positions where we're with somebody all day, all the time. We're talking to people a lot. There can be some emotional element to it.
It's a lot.
Are going through things.
It hurts your brain.
It can.
It can hurt your brain. Like, oh. So we kind of thought it'd be a good question because, like you said, it's the end of the year. So it's kind of like when you're feeling these signs and you're noticing it, there are things that we can take control of and help kind of get out of that burnout.
Yeah. And I think the thing that mostly causes burnout, it really comes from overworking. When we have
too many hours,
too many sessions every day, every week, just
no break.
Yeah. And, it can also come from being in environments, studios or, wherever you're teaching in an environment that's not a good fit for you anymore. A toxic workplace, or funky issues going on at the studio, like personal issues. So it can all just be very overloading. But I think that the number one thing for our work is just taking too many sessions.
Yeah, you've got to find that balance in your week, in your month, in your whole year. It's kind of got to be something you're constantly aware of.
Yeah. And because of that, I mean, we were thinking of like a few little tips that help us when we're feeling those signs of classic burnout. Being number one, just finding like your magic number, like how many sessions actually works for you to teach every day and every week.
And do you need a break?
Yes.
Or do you need them all together and then be done?
Yeah, actually, that's a huge thing.
Huge.
How you set your day up. Because some
Exactly.
people want to do like 4 or 5 back to back and then get out of
me. I want it done and done.
And then other people really need to have a break, like after every 2 to kind of reset.
Yep. Have some time alone, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is for you, depending on your own needs. And that can also change. Like you mentioned, like your number can change at different times of life.
Yeah. And what you're going through and where you are in your teaching career, it all changes.
Yeah.
When we first start out, it's like, give me the clients. I don't care.
Whatever you can.
I don't care what time it is. I don't care.
I mean, I used to teach like 35 sessions, 40 sessions a week. And right now I would never be able to do that.
But it's true. You're kind of just figuring out your balance with how many clients you do.
Yeah. And it can be tricky to find that balance because you want it to be where you feel financially comfortable, but also physically and emotionally comfortable. So
that you can continue teaching in the long term.
Yeah.
And not get permanently burnt out.
Yeah. Where it's just a phase and then you can come back to it. But finding that number, like how many per day are you feeling capable of doing comfortably and how many per week makes sense. Because some people can do maybe 8 one day, but then
I need the day off the next day. It's like I can't do 8 and then again pick up and do the next day.
Yeah.
Also continuing to do those education, whatever it is that kind of sparks your interest and recharges you. And it's kind of this new like, woo, excitement.
Yeah. It ignites something. So signing up for a new workshop or lecture or mentorship class, whatever it is, like just getting some kind of new inspiration in there can really be invigorating and kind of snap you out of burnout.
Yeah.
But also just, realizing that we need to schedule the time for ourselves. So that can be that workshop, but I mean like scheduling something that's not
work related.
Yeah. So scheduling your own thing into your day, whether that's your own Pilates practice or a different type of exercise or meeting with a friend or taking a nap or whatever it is for you that you need.
Yeah. And it could change again week to week.
But just for me, I always actually schedule into my calendar. Like I actually block off, just as if I would a client, I block off my workout so that I know
I do the same thing.
This is my time.
This is my time.
It's very important.
Or, even like yesterday I went to lunch with a friend and we just sat and talked, and we've done that before. Like after we're done here, we'll go somewhere and just be outside and just
chat and vent and and that connection, those social connections make such a difference.
Important. Yeah. I feel like, but like your point, and then when we do the next question, because we're going to run out of time. But the new year, like I think that's a really good time to kind of sit back and look at, like, is my schedule okay? Am I going to be able to do the next year here? What do I need to change? Or is there something I need to change?
Yeah, definitely. And it's just such a good time of year to reset, reevaluate, and change.
Clients are like off. It's like it gets slow, right? You've got time. It's a time to go, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was so overwhelmed. I didn't realize this because now things have slowed down due to the holidays. And you might go, oh, wow, I
can't do that again next year.
This has got to slow down a bit.
But also that realize, like, yes, we might love what we do, but it's also still work. And so you need to, like, set an end to your work day, not answer clients all day, every day.
Yeah, there's no reason to answer them at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Like, set that reminder to do it the next day or a schedule send text. But then finally also the clients are taking time off. Yeah. We need to take
time off. I used to feel guilty about that as a new teacher.
Me too. Yeah.
When we would go on vacations and stuff. But I also found out for myself, I started to realize after 6 months, if I didn't have a break, I was going into burnout.
Yeah.
So it was like this specific. It was like I'd be at like the 4th or 5th kind of in that. I'm like, I got to plan a vacation.
Yeah.
Even if we're not going anywhere, but just to have days off.
Just an extra long weekend or a couple extra days off, a quarter, just something.
We would do Thursday to Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I can move those Thursday, Friday people to the beginning of that week and then that to the, so I didn't miss anything, but I got that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's important.
And people understand.
They do.
You need to take that that extra time, take that break, go on a little trip, see some new sights. It's so refreshing.
So good. And you come back to it all. My clients, they always joke, it's like, they don't want to see me the day before I go on vacation because I'm so excited. And then they don't want to see me the minute I get back from vacation because it's the same thing. They're like, oh, you're too wired.
Too excited.
Too excited.
Just reinvigorated.
And then our next question is from Michelle. And it is, what is one trait, what is it? I can't see. One trait of a student going through teacher training that you think, oh yeah, they're going to be a good teacher. And we both had kind of the same opinion. Yeah. But I know for me with mine, it's that curiosity and that they're constantly curious. And even if they've finished their hours, they're still coming in and observing. They're still coming in and doing this. They're still asking questions. It's the one that that curiosity isn't there to explore. But the ones that have it, then I'm like, oh yeah, you're going to be good.
You got it.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking the same thing when I was thinking like an interest in always continuing to learn, which is essentially the same, like just that curiosity.
And it just never goes away.
Yeah. Just interest in the work, wanting to put that time in. And then I was also thinking a little bit of just like that little bit of grit, like somebody that's willing to work through a problem with clients maybe that they don't necessarily love in an environment that they don't like so much, but just willing to put that time in because that just is necessary to succeed in this industry. Necessary.
And it's like I see these students that, that, like you said, have that grit. And they're the ones, it's like, they don't need the hand holding. Yeah. They don't need you to like give them every single little bit because they figure it out and they work around the problem and because my teacher told me, he's like, no one's going to follow you around once you're out in the teaching world and help you out.
Yeah.
Meaning, you're going to be with the client. It's just you and the client and you've got to figure it out.
You need to figure it out. You need to build your business. You need to find those places. And that is very important.
Yeah. So I think curiosity and grit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Pretty simple answers for that question. And then we had, this is from Pearl. Is it this time for Pearl's question? Yeah. So she asked what snacks we have in the studio. And we laughed because
we love that one.
It's probably not what you think we have in the studio. But it is our sponsor, too. Usually we have, what is it we have in the studio?
Candy.
And we actually do because it's Halloween right now or just after Halloween. But our favorite is C's Candy, which is actually our sponsor.
Because we love it.
We love it so much.
We always have to have some candy and chocolate to just get through the day. But then if I'm being responsible, I would also say I always keep like nuts and a granola bar in my bag for a quick like pick me up for sustained energy.
But candy is priority.
But yeah.
At least for us. It's kind of what we bonded at like in the beginning when we first started working together. It was like, where are the best cookies? Where are the best cupcakes? Where are the best... You're like, have you gone here yet? No, I haven't. Have you? Yeah.
I have to go try that. There's all these different bakeries nearby, which there's still so many we have to try.
Oh, my gosh. There's a new one in Culver City that's opening. No, it's an old one that they're...
Oh, I did hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, new bakery. Okay.
We have to try that. So we always need our little, like, sweets. But then I also have to always have water with me.
Oh, water is key. Yeah. We've got our
chocolate and water.
Chocolate and water. And y'all think we are joking, but we are not.
We're not kidding.
That
is fully serious.
And then the actual. Do we have time for another question? Or should we go into which is it this? What is it? This one from Dana?
Yeah,
because I think
it's a good one.
I think it's a good one, especially for the end of the year, too. And this is from Dana. And she asked, when is it okay to fire a client? When I got this question, I'm like, oh, who's she wanting to fire? And I think we both have answers on this. But it's like you said, when you're a new teacher, it's never okay to fire a client.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You just like grit your teeth and go with it.
I guess I would put a caveat on that to say if you don't feel safe with a client.
Oh, yeah. If there's a situation where it's like...
Definitely
not. But if they're just irritating and it's a person, whatever. It's
if it's a personality thing, you just don't like them.
It's a learning experience, I really feel.
You actually learn a lot from working with clients that you don't like.
Yeah.
And in environments you don't like. And I mean, we've had clients that were just like, to teach every year. I mean, every session.
Where you wake up
years.
and you're like seeing it's Wednesday.
Oh, I have this person.
Yeah.
And ideally we wouldn't have that, but honestly we do learn from that.
We do. You learn a lot, and it's like you learn how to handle that. Like you were talking about grit. It's kind of like you learn how to handle a situation, and it's maybe not the best, but...
Yeah. But especially as a new teacher, like especially within the first 5-6 years, like you just take whoever you can to start building books and your reputation and your client load. But,
and it really is. And we talked about new teachers. I really feel that first 5 years, you're still just learning how to teach clients. You're just going through your, what you learned in teacher training in terms of the exercises.
Yeah.
And
it's foundation.
That foundation. And you're just becoming more seasoned. And then after that 5 years, then you're like, okay, now I see where this is going for me.
Then you can start specializing and learning more specifics and kind of finding your own path in that.
Yeah. But it takes time.
I'd say 5-6 years for sure.
But if you're talking about you're a longtime teacher and this, you get this client that is and we talked about it just, I think for me now in my career, and you too as well, it's like we have taught long enough, and a lot of y'all have taught long enough where you're we want to be with clients that want to be there, that want to be taught, that want to grow in their practice, that listen. And if it's the situation where you're I'm not benefiting them in any way for whatever reason.
Why are you here?
Why are they there? Then that's when it's you know what? I don't think this is a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, and it is just true. There's plenty of Pilates teachers. And so we've said this before, there's a teacher for everybody, but we don't have to be that teacher for everybody.
Right.
But yeah, you do have to balance that and not fire somebody quickly just because they're annoying.
Because a lot of times that annoying client in the beginning, like you said, if you work through things and figure things out, they may become your favorite client.
Yeah.
I've had that happen.
I've had that happen.
Where you're and then you figure them out and you are able to relate to them, and then they become your best client.
Yep. So I've definitely multiple
times. Multiple. Then on the other hand, you and I were talking about a client. I gave her a whole year, and I'm like, this is not working out. But you have to give it time too.
Yeah, definitely. And especially as a new teacher.
Oh, as a new teacher, I just sucked it up. I was
so much.
So much. I had one client, and if anyone can relate, please DM us or whatever, but her feet smelled so bad that I had to be at the other end of the reformer. It was awful, but I was a new teacher, and she came twice a week.
You just have to.
I had to, just go with it. But it's you got to figure it out.
Yeah. It just is what it is. It's just part of it.
So the last thing is kind of our own question, is what we're excited about for 2025. Oh my gosh.
Very excited for next year.
First off, we're in our own space now together.
We have our studio set up.
Yeah, we redesigned it. I told David, I was let's just be in here for a while together and figure it out. And it was a month.
Yeah.
And it's okay, let's do this.
We reset it up, and we're very excited because the way we've reset it gives us a lot of floor space where we can host more workshops and fit more people in with the mats in the space. And so that's something we're very excited about for our workshops next year.
Yeah.
Spring and summer.
Our spring workshop this year, it was great, but we were really using the apparatus, and we kind of we did a little mat class, but it was the cueing one.
Yeah. And so we had a little bit of space for people on the floor, but then we used a couple of the apparatus too. So now we have all that space.
We're so excited. So we've got like our workshops coming. We have one in spring, which we'll start talking about after the holidays. And then we also have our post-grad programs we're working on.
Yeah.
You want to tell them more about that? Because we haven't we haven't figured out.
We haven't put the information out yet, but it will be on our website. But some continuing education for teachers in a postgraduate style, like after you've graduated from your teacher training program. And so a series of workshops for diving deeper into special topics. And so
we've kind of been basing them a lot on either what we've kind of touched on in podcasts or they turn into podcasts.
Yeah, one way
or the other.
But some of it will be part of my specialization, which is some orthopedic sort of work where it's looking at Pilates for rehabilitation and looking at special conditions and how to teach those clients within scope in rehabilitative manner.
When we're not PTs.
Yeah. And so differentiating like how to work with that and exercises, therapeutic exercises that are still within scope and in practice and certain conditions with that. And then also some hypermobility.
Yes. And then kind of going into like everything we've talked about is just kind of how we guide our clients and teach and kind of different situations and different exercises and building and but we're not doing workshops of like, this is how you do the 100. This is how you do this. It's like, we're not teaching exercises.
Yeah.
It's more like, well, how do we put it with like a thought process? It's like
the thinking around how to teach.
That critical thinking is more what our workshops are kind of about. Whatever the subject is, that's kind of, it's not like, this is the way. It's kind of like, how do you figure this out? Where do you go? How do you deal with this client?
Yeah. And learning how to think in the moment about these specific situations, because every situation is so different. Every client's so different.
Client's different.
And then where our goal is to aim everything kind of around the individual teachers who sign up.
Yep.
So it'll be very focused on unique questions and needs for each group.
Yeah. So even if it's like, let's say like we did in the outdated queuing that we did
in May,
and then we just had in November for the virtual. It's like we really did kind of gear it towards the group that came, and that's the other thing is to have that freedom and exploration as a group.
Yeah.
In that environment of being supported and kind of being able to like, oh, well, I was blah, blah, blah. What do you and then that's kind of as a group going down a path.
Yeah. And helping people, kind of mentoring in a way, like helping people.
Oh, yeah, we have our mentoring too.
Yeah. But like guiding people in how to think about things, going through certain situations that they want to analyze and figure out, for their own practice, for their own teaching practice.
Yeah. And hopefully it's like just something that we just continue to add into, which we have a huge list, like our podcast, so that every year you're able to do a few and get your CCs and then just continue in with us on this path of exploration.
Yeah. And with our community, that our goal is just to really have a very supportive and positive community of teachers where we can deep dive into these topics and explore and just help people keep learning.
So it doesn't matter like where you learned or how you learned. It's just kind of taking tools and getting more and more for your toolbox is what I like to say.
Yeah. And combating that burnout that we talked about.
And combating that burnout.
Feeling inspired.
And maybe talking about that client you want to fire. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but helping people build towards more success in their careers and more inspiration and education.
Yeah, because I know for us, we want people to leave our workshops feeling like that recharged and like, oh, I'm so excited to like think this way and realize this is okay. And it's because it's
invigorated.
Just, it's not this like black and white. It's very much, what is best in this moment for this person. And that's kind of how our workshops go.
Yep.
Yay! And we already talked about our sponsor, C's Candy. But the other thing is we do have our list for 2025 of podcasts, but feel free to go on our website and shoot us an email if you have ideas or something you want to hear about.
Yeah.
Because we do take ideas, and a lot of them come out. We have a lot of questions that we didn't get to, so those will become podcasts.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the list going, yeah, that'd be a good one.
That's a good question.
That's a really good one there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and we are open to that. So please feel free. Anything else before we end on the year?
Have a fantastic holiday season, and just look us up at PilatesChicks.com and
Instagram.
And
TikTok.
see what we're up to. And you can always catch up with us. Send us a private message on Instagram or through our website, and we'll always respond to those.
Yes. And if you're in LA, come see us at our studio.
Come to our studios.
Come say hi. Because I think, I don't know when this one comes out, but it'll be the end of December.
Yeah.
So
Right before the holidays.
we'll see you after the holidays then. Yeah, we do.
Yep.
We will do it before the holidays. 'Cause
Yeah.
no one's going to be listening on that.
Which you shouldn't. You should take your time.
Take your time.
Go
Remember,
decompress.
what are some signs of burnout? Take
Go
some
relax.
time. Go relax. But we want to, we should also just thank, because we've had such a good year and people have been so sweet.
Yeah.
And we've gotten some great feedback on our podcast. And then, like with the last one we did, Kimberly gave us our idea. She's like, I want to hear more about this. So, yeah, let us know, because that was a fun one we just did before this. And that's it. That's all we got.
That's what we got.
2024. Boom, boom.
Done and done.
Done and done.
We'll see you next year.
Bye, guys. Yeah, that always freaks me out when people say that. See you next year. I'm like, wait, what?
What?
Bye. Enjoy your day.